Hey guys, welcome back to the Bargain Collector. I'm Jocelyn Ramon Finney. Come on in, kick your feet up, and press the like. So, last time we were together, I was very excited about one of my library finds that I got for $1, which was Orson Welles' Chimes at Midnight, or one of the other many names that it goes by, Falstaff. This release, Mr. Bongo put out, was a 2015 release, and they did a restoration in connection with a company called Filmoteca, more specifically Luciano Beretua. I hope I'm not butchering his name too terribly, but they teamed up with them for the express goal of preserving the film as it was, to not necessarily do what we would do in nowadays in terms of a restoration, which is to scan it in, make it sharper, get rid of a lot of the grain, or at least make it more manageable. That really wasn't their intent. Their intent actually was the opposite. So the grain removal process, scratch that. Cleaning the film up, making it sharper, scratch that. Adjusting the lighting, making it lighter, darker, adding more depth in the shadows, and none of that was the goal. It was so it would be seen by audiences today as it would have been back in 1965. So what did that do for the look of the film? Well, it looks as intended. If you've never seen the film and you've never heard of this film, essentially what Orson Welles has done is woven a mixture of different Shakespearean plays together and made his character Falstaff the connective tissue to all of those different stories. The main stories that he uses, in which case he attaches a few others, but at the very foundation of it all is his Henry IV parts 1 and 2, in which case Falstaff befriends Prince Hal, and it follows their journey through the removal of Henry IV and Hal being ascended to being Henry V. I could honestly see why Orson Welles himself considered this to be his best film. I think he excelled in almost every single category as a filmmaker and as a performer. Now, will I say that this film is for everyone? No. I feel that if you aren't familiar with Shakespearean plays, if you aren't comfortable with iambic pentameter and all of those things, you may get lost in the film, because some of the dialogue is very period. All of the dialogue is very period, and the manner in which people speak, it can be very confusing if you're not familiar with it. And because it's not a highly stylized film, there's not a lot that you can read from the specific shots. The cinematic language that's used, it doesn't make up for your lack of understanding of the Shakespearean language, if that makes any sense, if that tracks. You then begin to look at what have the critics said about the film. And most critics praise the film and consider it to be the absolute best screen adaptation of Shakespeare, period. The high praise is warranted. However, conversely, some of the criticisms of the film have been the editing. The editing has been considered rough and fragmented in a lot of places. I can say that I definitely agree that the editing could have been tightened up a bit, but yeah, it could have been an artistic choice. It could have been, but I can definitely understand why that was pointed out, because in a few places, it got a bit rough. And I will say that Also, a criticism of this film has been a criticism of many Orson Welles' films, which is that he utilizes a lot of post dubbing. Now, in this film, his voice will pull you in like immediately as soon as he begins speak. I remember that when the film started, I believe it's Hal. I could be completely wrong. I think it's Hal who's talking to him and just talking his ear off, talking his ear off. And I'm watching it. Like I said, it started a little jarring. It was a little rough. As Hal is speaking, and he's just jawing on about the past. A few moments in, Orson Welles, he finally responds. And when he does, his voice has so much weight behind it. It grounds just his voice. Okay. And I remember thinking to myself, that was amazing, the sound of his voice, right? But there's no way that was captured in the scene that they were in, because when you see the scene, it makes sense. There's no way they captured that sound there. And it was very, very clear that that was post dubbing. And as the film goes on, it's the same thing, no matter how chaotic, because it also has the criticism of being a chaotic and messy and muddy film in certain places. No matter no matter how chaotic it is, no matter how messy it is, no matter how muddy it is, the second Orson Welles speaks, everything stops. Everyone pays attention, including the audience. If you didn't have the post dubbing, which I agree, it's very noticeable, but if you didn't have the post dubbing, I don't know if it would have carried the same effect or the same weight. But that's a very valid criticism of the film. It's noticeable. It's very noticeable. For me, the channel isn't about all the reasons why I liked it, right? I want to convey what the story is and some of the praises, some of the criticisms, and let you know if I found it entertaining, if I found it rewatchable, and ultimately if it has shelf appeal. Does it work in a way where I want to add this to my library? One that I shrank to be filled with things that, but you know what? I want to give you a better way of looking at it. Whatever I have in my current library of films, they are films that if I was just flipping through television, I don't know what to watch, but I was just flipping through and I saw that film, it's a film I would stop and watch till its conclusion, no matter where it was in the story. No matter where we are in the film, we could be on minute 1 or minute 61, and I'm watching the rest of the film. Those are the films I want in my library, right? So as I look at Chimes of Midnight or Falstaff, I ask myself first, what's the shelf appeal? This is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty standard boutique style Blu-ray box, right? It's either black or it's clear. Those are usually the colors of your boutique label Blu-ray cases. So, okay, it's got that going for it. But that's kind of about it. But here's the thing. Everybody's different. You may look at this and say, wow, that's really cool. I really dig the image here, which I don't think this is an accurate representation of the film, but you could look at this and say, oh, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. But it's just not my cup of tea, okay? In terms of the look of it. But was it entertaining? Yes. entertained from the first moment till the last through everyone's arcs. And I think there's only one person who kind of pulls you out of the movie just a little bit. Other than that, everybody else is firing on all cylinders. Is it rewatchable? Not for me. Not for me. There is not a chance that I would reach for that film in the future to just watch and have a good time with. I wouldn't, but that's me, right? For you, you may, if you are a fan of Shakespeare, like I'm a fan of Shakespeare. I love Macbeth. Macbeth is my favorite play. Okay. And I love Michael Fassbender's version of Macbeth. I think that was amazing and cool. And that I have in my library because that is a film I'll pull out anytime and I'll watch. I just don't feel that Falstaff, aka Chimes at Midnight, is a film that I would rewatch. But I do know for a fact that it has its fans, and those fans would watch it endlessly. So if you are one of those fans, if you are, very shortly, I will place Falstaff on my eBay store. I'll have the link below, and it'll be there. And I'll even have a bargain collector sticker. I'm not going to put it on it because I would not dare do that. I would not appreciate it if somebody did that to me, but I will have a sticker that will come with the film, so that you will always remember that you were a supporter of the channel and that you bought the film from this channel. And I really hope that it finds a good home. Please stay on the lookout because, as you know, with the library finds that I picked up, Falstaff was only one of them. The other was Elvis's King Creole, which that review should be coming up next. So please check it out when it comes out and hear what I have to say about King Creole, especially since it's about to come out on 4K, right? All right. Until next time, keep finding good films at great prices.